Alrighty, so before we get to probably the biggest game that the US U23 team are going to be playing ever since the 2015 Rio's Olympic qualifier, which we know how that, of course, went, and that in some way this is kind of a rematch with the US playing Honduras, and again, this is going to be a matchup just like 2015 that decide whether or not if the US are going to be going to the Olympics this coming months. Today we're gonna do a bit of kind of a calm before the storm video by talking about jerseys that was unveiled by every single team throughout this off season, and that is it's either going to be a home kit or an away kit that they unveiled throughout this off season, or in the case of Austin FC and the Chicago Fire, they decided to unveil both their home and away kit for this upcoming season. And technically, I wouldn't say this is kind of a calm before the storm video, because by the time this video is going to upload it, most likely the game have already started, because at the time of this recording, it is going to be an hour before the game between the US and Honduras in that Olympic qualifier is going to happen. And by the time this video is uploaded, we'll probably be at halftime or even at the end of this game. So by the time you watch this video, either this is going to be a video where you're going to be in a very happy mood seeing the US U23 team qualify for the Olympic, or this is kind of like a drown your sorrows kind of video where, you know, you're very frustrated with the way that the US once again failed to qualify the Olympic, and this is kind of like a consolation prize. But that being said, going back to this, what I'm decided to do is for every single team that unveiled their jerseys throughout this off season, I'm gonna give a grade in terms of the jerseys that they unveil, and there are some that I think are very good, and that, you know, unlike past season where I know people complain about Adidas and the way that they designed the jerseys, and pretty much most of the jerseys that they designed were like boring white jerseys, and unfortunately there are some from this season that is going to be the case, and we'll see whether or not if some of them are gonna rank very high in terms of the rating point of these jerseys that is white. But there are some that is very good, and some that I would say is probably deserve of an 8+ kind of grade. But we'll see which team, of course, would deserve that grade in terms of the jerseys. And also, by the way, I am wearing Minnesota United because this is actually the last jersey that I bought from the MLS store, although I have bought the TFC and Austin FC jerseys. I think I bought the Austin FC jerseys from the store, and I bought the TFC jersey from Full Moon jerseys on eBay, and both of them should be arriving as soon as tomorrow, or it could be as late on Friday. But that being said, let us actually begin this video, and we'll start with Atlanta United, and I'm gonna of course show you guys the jerseys here on my phone. Now, some of these I actually have already showed you the jerseys on my News of the Week episode, because there are some that I did include talking about these jerseys unveiled with some of these teams and put it on the News of the Week video. But for Atlanta, I don't think I did this in one of my News of the Week episode and show you guys the jerseys that they have, and this is basically the one that they are going to be wearing. I believe this is the secondary kit or the third kit that they're wearing. Obviously, I think Atlanta is the only team that's going to have free kit this season, but I don't know if this is actually the secondary or their third kit for this upcoming season. And apparently they call this the black kit, with the A on the black meaning V, which of course is reference to Atlanta being in the league for the 5th season, and it's kind of like a 5-year anniversary of this team being exist in the league. And you know, the jerseys that they have here, so I'll show you again here in this picture. I know it's a little bit foggy. Actually, if I zoom in like this, yeah, there you go. It's not bad. I'll give it a B grade in terms of this jersey, because, you know, obviously the jersey does include the iconic 5 stripes, although unlike the previous jersey where it's kind of like throughout the entire part of the jerseys, it only kind of puts like in the middle part of it, and the stripes is kind of replaced with just 5 lines in the middle of it, which, you know, I do like the old one where they include the 5 stripes throughout the entire part of the jerseys, instead of here where they only like put 5 lines in the middle of the jerseys. But otherwise, the nice looking clean little jersey. I like they use some of the colors that their team logo is, with the gold, black, and also red. So yeah, I'm gonna give them a B in terms of that. But moving on to the Chicago Fire, and this is one of the two teams that decide to unveil both their home and away kit for this upcoming season. And let me see if I can put both of these on the same screen. So there you go. This is basically the home and away kit. The one at the top is the away kit, and the one at the bottom is the home kit. And the grade that I'm going to give for Chicago in terms of their home and away kit, for the home one, I'm going to give it a C-, and for the away one, I'll give it a B-. So the home jerseys that they're going to be wearing for this upcoming season, it looks very similar to last season, where the main color is pretty much the same. And that I think the only difference is that they decided to change the sponsor color to red, and also they don't have those diagonal kind of patterns in terms of last year's jersey, and because of the fact that it looks very similar. Anytime when I see teams decided to use a similar design in terms of their new jerseys, I usually don't give them a very high grade, because when you unveil a new jersey, it has to have some originality, and it has to be different, and something that is just not the same as the old one. Because if you decide to do that, you might as well just not unveil a new jersey. But in terms of the away one, I know it is kind of a white kit, which, anytime when a team release a white kit, I usually do not grade them very high. But for this one, I grade them as a B-. It's kind of above average in terms of a kit that has the color white in it, because it has some unique kind of pattern. And if you actually look closely, you can see there's maybe kind of this star within the jersey that is part of the pattern. I know you probably can't see it through this camera, and I think that's kind of reference in terms of the flag of Chicago, or maybe even reference in terms of what the new logo is going to look like for this upcoming season. Because I think I mentioned this before in News of the Week episode. One of the design of the new logo that they're going to go for this upcoming season is going to pay homage in terms of the flag that Chicago has, which are those iconic stars that is found in the flag. But moving on now to the defending champion, the Columbus Crew. And this is the jerseys that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And let me see, I believe I gave them a C grade in terms of this jersey, because again, it is kind of a boring white kit, although it's not really white. If you actually look at it closely, it's kind of more grayish, and it does have these kind of weird patterns, which I have no idea what exactly they are, and they actually didn't even name their kit here on the MLS store. But yeah, this is kind of one of those boring kind of bland white grayish kit, and that I wish they should have gone either with the yellow secondary kit, or maybe go with kind of like a checker pattern kind of kit, because part of their logo does have that checker pattern. And I think one of their kit that they had a couple years ago did have that checker pattern, and I wish they kind of go back to it. But yeah, overall, it's not really a jersey that's going to really is going to kind of excite a lot of people. And I know there are some Crew fans that is not very happy in terms of the jerseys that they announce, and that they feel like this is just one of those boring kind of white jerseys that pretty much every MLS team is wearing whenever they are playing on the road. But moving on to DC United, and speaking of white jerseys, DC also gone with a white jerseys. Now, originally when I showed this, I think in one of the News of the Week episode, I was destined to put this very low in terms of rankings, or in terms of me grading this. I would easily put this as a D grade, because it looks like it's one of these boring kind of white jerseys with only the color being on the sponsor's logo, and also partially maybe in the collar of the jersey. But the more that I look at it, I'm actually going to give them a little bit higher grade than I originally was thinking about giving them, and that is a C- grade. Because I know you probably won't see it. If I move this a little bit closer, you kind of see that there's these kind of patterns within the jerseys, and I believe this is called the marble kit, because when you look at it, it looks like the pattern pretty much resemble what a marble looks like. But still, even with that nice little design that I actually didn't realize before, it still doesn't give me a very good grade, and that it still does does not kind of give me a grade that I would really like in some of these white jerseys, because again, there are some white jerseys that I do like, and we'll get to it throughout this video, that there are some that I actually decided to put as high as an A minus grade. But this one, you know, with this kind of boring white color, and also the sponsor logo, which is actually blue, which, you know, that's one thing that I'm kind of confused about the DC United, because they don't have blue in terms of their color. And unless if the jerseys is kind of like a tribute to, you know, the nation's capital, and the fact that it's kind of like red, white, and blue of how the jerseys looks like, maybe that might be the reason why they decide to kind of gone blue in terms of their jerseys, and all, well, not their jerseys, but kind of part of their jerseys, and also the sponsor color and the color of the jerseys. But otherwise, I don't think I've ever seen blue in terms of a DC United jersey. But now moving on to FC Cincinnati, and this is the one that FC Cincinnati is going to be wearing. I think this is the home kit that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season, and I am going to say it's a B plus in terms of this jersey. And I really like the color of this home kit. You know, it's kind of a dark navy blue, and also, you know, it does have these kind of vertical patterns, with the team color being orange and blue kind of color. But other than that, you know, besides the fact that I like the coloring and also the pattern that is in this jersey, it's also very, very simple. And this is the thing with some of these jerseys, where just because some of these jerseys might look very simple and doesn't really have these complicated design that might make a jerseys look very good, some of these simple ones might be one that I think it's clean enough where it actually is a really good looking jerseys. And in some ways, some of these clean and simple kind of design look a little bit better than some of these complicated one where they maybe sometimes they try a little bit too hard in terms of designing and put up some weird patterns that it just does not make sense whatsoever. But in this case, it does make sense with the way that, you know, as I mentioned, with these vertical pattern and vertical lines being the color of FC Cincinnati. But now moving on to Inter Miami, and for Inter Miami, this is going to be the jersey that they're going to be wearing. I believe this is the home kit or the away kit that they're going to be wearing. I think this is the home kit that they're going to be wearing, and they call this the La Palma kit. And the reason why they call it the La Palma kit is because part of this kit, they do have these kind of palm kind of tree kind of design, although I know here in the screen you can barely see it. And for the grade, I'm going to say it's a D plus. And going back to what I said about how you can barely see these palm tree design within the jerseys, yeah, I don't know why exactly they decided to put like the palm tree kind of design in the same color as the main jerseys, which, you know, unless you actually bought the jerseys, if you kind of look far away, or in this case I show you the jerseys from this camera, you can not see the palm tree kind of designs in this jersey. In fact, even looking at the screen right now, I can barely see kind of like the palm tree kind of patterns that is found within their jerseys. But the other reason why I also give them a very low grade is that this is pretty much a very similar jerseys that they wear last season, which again, anytime when you don't have any originality and you decide to go with a jersey that is very similar to the last one, that's going to dock you a lot of points. And the final thing that docks me a lot of points is not enough pink in terms of this jersey. I mean, I know a lot of Miami fans have been saying that they want pink in terms of their jerseys. In fact, if you look at the Inter Miami store, their top selling jerseys is actually this one. And this is not a jersey that they wear. This is one that they wear during when they're training, or when they're about to do their pre-game training. And the fact that, you know, this one is not one of their main jersey kind of just baffles me, because this one looks much better compared to the black and the white one that they are currently wearing. I mean, it might look simple with it just kind of being pink, but there's a reason why this is the most popular one, and the fact that a lot of Miami fans want their jersey to just mainly be pink and not just kind of be black or white like the one that they currently have, that just does not look good whatsoever. But moving on to Montreal, I have to go back here because apparently with Montreal, in terms of how, if they go with the alphabetical order, they actually put them in the C category because we know this year they changed their name to CF Montreal, or more appropriately Club de Foot Montreal. And they technically did release two jerseys. They released this one and also this one, but I only include the home jersey that they decide to unveil because the away one is pretty much the same, with the only difference being putting up with their new hideous logo that they have. But the new one, which is this one I'm showing right now, it's not a bad jersey. I mean, there is also these kind of patterns right here, which I'm not quite sure you guys can see it, which kind of resembling the snowflakes that is in the logo. I mean, I'm just gonna call it a snowflake because I know there's a lot of people have different ways to interpret what that center part of the logo looks like. But just if you look at it just from a standpoint, it's definitely a snowflakes. And I'll give them a let's see what I give them here. I gave them a God. Oh, I actually didn't put this on my notebook book, which I wrote all the grades here. I'm gonna give them a C plus in terms of this. I mean, you know, this is not a bad looking jersey with the way that, you know, they did include the snowflake kind of logo, and I always love when teams decided to include part of their logo as part of the patterns that is within the jersey. But the reason why I still rate them a little bit low in terms of the grading point is that, you know, there's just kind of too much black, and just like in the case where Miami fans want their team to add more pink into their jersey, Montreal fans want their team to add more blue in terms of their jersey. But since when you look at the new logo and the primary color is being black, it's understandable why they decided to go with mostly black and kind of got rid of the blue color that you usually see back when Montreal was still called the Impact and was part of their old logo. But now moving on to, I believe, Nashville SC, and this is the one that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season, and I am going to give them a pretty good grade for this. I think this is the first one that I actually gave them an A grade, although it's kind of like an A minus grade, but I think this is the highest one that I have gave for each team so far. And the thing that I like about this jersey is that even though I know it looks very similar to the home kit that they wear in their inaugural season, I do like these kind of patterns within the jersey, and that the one Nashville t-shirt that I have also kind of had these kind of patterns that is in that t-shirt. So this kind of patterns must have kind of is part of the club, even though it doesn't really kind of show it in their main logo. But also the thing that I do like about this jersey is just the color scheme and the fact that I feel like yellow and blue, and especially this dark navy blue and yellow, really fits well in a jersey. So yeah, that's why I decided to give them a very high grade because of that. And also it does look like a very clean and looking kind of jersey, and whoever designed it didn't really kind of overthink it when they decided to design this jersey. But now moving on to New England, and for the refs, this is going to be the jersey that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. I believe this is the away kit, and unfortunately I'm going to put an F in terms of this one. And I think this is the only team I actually gave an F grade, and no doubt that this is probably the worst jersey out of all of the ones that's been unveiled this off season. And I think a lot of refs fans will probably agree with me, because a lot of them do not like this new jersey that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And the big reason why this is a really bad one is that it looks like whoever designed this maybe had like only 10 minutes to design this new jersey, and maybe kind of was close to meet the deadline in terms of coming up with a new design. So what they decided to do is basically create a white kind of jersey with kind of like the sponsor and also the logo of the team, and just kind of slap on them, and also added a little bit of a blue on this left side of the collar with kind of black right here on the right, and just kind of call it a day and basically say, yep, this is going to be the new jersey and the new away kit that the New England Revolution is going to be wearing for this upcoming season. Like that, you talk about ultimate laziness and you talk about ultimate design that feels like it's been rushed. This one clearly it is one of them. I mean, I mean, when I look at this, and the thing that I also don't like about this jersey is that, besides the fact that they decided to go on with the black font with the logo and also the sponsor, I don't get why they decided to choose blue in this left side of this jersey. Oops. Or the left side of the collar here, because this blue is not actually the same blue as the main New England logo has. The one that New England has is more kind of like dark navy blue, while this one is kind of more like a sky, kind of NYCFC kind of blue. So that also is another reason why it just does not make sense, on top of the fact that it feels like it's a very lazy design, in that whoever designed it must have had a short deadline that they had to meet in order to design this new jersey that New England is going to be wearing. Now, speaking of NYCFC and talk about their sky blue color, well, their main jersey is going to be this sky blue kind of color. This one is kind of similar to the one that they wear in their inaugural season back in 2015, and I'm gonna give them a C grade here. And most of these home jerseys that NYCFC have been wearing has not really been one that you would say that it's one of the best in the league, and it's kind of like right there on average, being an okay kind of jersey, because most of them is very simple design, with them just slapping their main color that is blue and then just kind of call it a day. And this one is kind of no difference, with them kind of just slapping the sky blue kind of color with a little bit white, and that again does look very similar to the one that they're wearing in 2015. And unless if this is kind of like a pay homage to their inaugural season, and maybe this is kind of like a retro kind of jersey, yeah, in the end I am of course going to have to put a C grade in that. It seems like Adidas and CFG probably usually when they come up with NYCFC design, knowing the fact that their main club is Man City, and if you actually look at some of the Man City kit from the past couple of years, some of them are actually really good looking, and you just wonder why exactly CFG and Adidas don't actually create a better one for the parent club. Well, guess what? There's a reason why NYCFC is a parent club, and that when you usually design something nice for a team that has different kind of team with the main team, and also you have the parent club, they always usually focus more on their main team, whereas the other kind of parent club, unfortunately, they do get like a secondary design, and they do get kind of a similar design of what the main team does, but it's definitely not as good looking as the main team that is Man City, in terms of some of the previous jerseys that they are where they were for the past couple of years. Now, moving on to the New York Red Bulls. So this is the jerseys that the Red Bulls are going to be wearing, and I am actually going to give them a B+ grade. And while this is a kind of a white dominant jersey, the reason why I still gave them a pretty high grade is because the fact that they do have the checkered pattern, and anytime when you have like a checkered pattern in your jersey, that automatically is at minimum a B grade in my category, because I always love a checker pattern that is found within an MLS jersey. But yeah, overall, I know even though it's kind of like a white jersey, it does have the main color of the Red Bulls, and that these color does kind of goes well with the checker pattern that is found within the jersey, and therefore that's why I decided to give them a pretty decent grade on that. But now moving on to Orlando City, and for Orlando City, this is going to be the jersey that they're going to be wearing, and I know it doesn't really show it very well here on the camera, but I am actually going to give this a grade for Orlando City. Like, for Orlando City home jersey, they always rank as one of the highest in my book, because I always love the color purple on a jersey, and since Orlando City, their main color is purple, they obviously always go with this one, with their home kit. But over the year, you know, they have done some interesting design with some of the purple ones. For this one, they kind of gone with a dark purple that is on the top part of their jersey. But then as you go a little more down to the bottom part of the jersey, it started to kind of get a little bit lighter, and they kind of had this kind of transformation where they go with a dark purple, and then it goes all the way down to a purple kind of color. And yeah, you know, I really like the way that they designed it. That, and that again, you know, any time when Orlando City does unveil a home jersey, I have a feeling it's probably going to be a good one, because the last couple of home jerseys that they unveil has been some of the best that I've seen in this league. Now moving on to the Philadelphia Union, and I think this is one of the earliest ones that was unveiling, the first one that was unveiled. I'm mainly going to just give them an A+ grade, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have seen this one before. And that, of course, is this kind of lightning bolt kind of color. And the reason why I immediately gave them an A+ is because I know a lot of people saw it, and that it has received a lot of positive comments, and that you know, this was one of the ones that when it was released, a lot of people was happy, not just because of the way that it has a different color kind of design for an away kit, and also have these nice looking lightning bulb kind of design within their kit, but it's just such a refreshing, the fact that it was a color that is not white in terms of the away kit, because this was during the time when a lot of people were nervous with some of these teams unveiling their away kit. They're just gonna go with white with their main away kit, and it's just gonna be like last season where that was going to be the case. So that's why there was just such a refreshing feeling that when the Union decided to go with their away jersey for this season, they decided to not go with the normal trend. And the other thing that makes this jersey look very good is because this jersey is one of the few one that actually was designed by the fans, and that when the Union decided to release this jersey, they said that the design not just it came from Adidas, but it was also coming from the fans. And I always love when teams actually allow their fans to design their jerseys, because I know for sure that a lot of fans, and even in the Quakes fan base, I've seen some Quakes fans have designed some of the jerseys that could have been ones that we would have wear for this upcoming season, and some of those look so much better compared to the one that the Quakes actually released and the one that Adidas actually designed for the Quakes jersey. So yeah, it just kind of proves that the community and also the fan base usually design a better looking jersey than whatever Adidas decided to come up with. But now moving on to Toronto FC, and for TFC, this is going to be the jersey that they're going to be wearing, and again, I have to give this an A grade. I mean, this looks like a very badass kind of jersey with kind of different shades of red, and also, I'm not sure you can see it very well, but I love these kind of diagonal pattern that is within the jerseys. And yeah, I mean, it just looks like a very good looking jersey. And that, you know, I think this is what it's called. It's the A41 kit. I'm not quite sure what exactly A41 means, although I'm pretty sure if you're a TFC fan, you probably know what exactly that means. But either way, you know, this, again, it's a very nice looking jersey with the red and also the pattern, and probably one that, you know, compared to the past couple of TFC jersey, I know some of the most recent one are just kind of gone all red. And, you know, I know red is kind of the main color for TFC, but still, I feel like they could have done a little bit better in terms of creating some unique design to besides just putting a simple red kind of color in their jersey. And it seemed like this one is exactly what they decided to do with these nice low kind of patterns. And again, unfortunately, it's not showing here on the camera, but it does look very nice if you actually see this jersey on the website or even see it in person. But now moving on, we're going to look at the Western Conference, and I know I spent 30 minutes talking about the Eastern Conference, and I mentioned that this video probably is going to take a little while since I have to go through all 27 teams. But now let's look at the Western Conference, and we're going to start with Austin FC, and unfortunately they don't have it here on the team store, which is weird because I'm pretty sure they have the Austin FC jersey on the team store. Well, actually, I'll just show it, this one from Google, and I think a lot of people have already saw this one. This is the home kit that they are going to be wearing, and this is the away kit that they are going to be wearing. Now, for the home kit, I definitely think that this is one of the better ones, but for the away kit, it's one of the worst ones, and I gave them a D grade because for the away kit, it looks like something similar to what happened last year, where a lot of teams decided to just go with the plain white jersey with the only color being the logo and also the sponsor that they have. And it seemed like this is kind of the design that Austin FC decided to go. But the home one, it looks really cool. I always love these kind of design, kind of similar to what Atlanta did with the 5 stripes, where they put like different kind of color within these different stripes, and that it seemed like Austin is doing kind of the same thing. And even though this is not an original idea and that they kind of copy what Atlanta did a couple of years ago, I still like the design, and I like the fact that even sometimes when clubs don't come up with original ideas of how to design these jersey, if they decided to go with ones that clearly works and fans really love it, why not you use the same design, and why not just add it into your own jerseys? But again, this just looks really cool with the way that it is designed, and that it's just so unfortunate that this is basically the away jersey that they are going to be wearing. And I'm assuming a lot of Austin fans are going to be buying this more in their store rather than the away kit that they're going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And I'm really hoping next season they're going to change their away kit, because that one just looks like what pretty much a lot of those away kit from last season looks, which is just a plain white kind of jersey. But moving on to the Colorado Rapids, and I have to go back to the store here because look at that one on Google. But the Rapids one, they just released this yesterday, which is the topography kit. Now, when you look at this one, you might think that it's not really a good looking jersey, and it looks kind of bland with it just being a white color, and also so with a little bit green that is within their jersey. And also this one does not have a sponsor logo, so most likely the Transamerica group sponsor that Colorado has been having for the past couple of years must have expired for this upcoming season. But I'm actually going to give them an A- for this. And this picture I show on the MLS store is probably not a good one, but if I actually go to the Rapids store and go to their website in terms of them unveiling their jersey, you can see why exactly I decided to give them an A- grade. And also my camera is a little bit out of focus here. I don't know why that's the case. And the reason why it is that, I mentioned earlier that this is the topography kit, and that part of the patterns that is within the jerseys actually have the topography line. And I love how the Rapids decided to use the topography line as part of the patterns within their jersey, because it makes sense. This is Colorado. Colorado has a lot of mountain. It has that famous Rocky Mountain chain, and that they even said that this is kind of a paying homage to the 614ers that is found within Colorado. Those of you that don't know what the 614ers is pretty much the 6 peak that rise above 14,000 feet in Colorado and in the Rocky Mountain range. And the other thing that I also love about this, I talked about the green color. This is actually paying homage to the old Rapids kid, where when they came into the league back in the late 1990s, they were still wearing those green kid, and that it's something that a lot of Rapids fans been hoping that their team might go back, and that one day maybe they will have kind of a green kit to kind of maybe use as a retro reverse kind of jerseys that the Rapids are going to be wearing. And this one seems like it's going to be the closest. And although it's not really completely green as I'm showing it right here, it does have very similar color to the old Rapids jersey. And again, that is another added bonus on top of the awesome topography line that is found within the jerseys that I decided to give them. Probably the highest grade that I actually put in terms of a white jersey. But again, if you go to the Rapids website, it looks much better than than the pictures shows on the team store. And when you also look at the Rapids website, the jersey is not really kind of white. It's more kind of like a minted green kind of color, and that is another bonus of why I really love that jersey. Now moving on to FC Dallas. So for Dallas, this is going to be the jersey that they're going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And just like the Rapids, they no longer have, I believe, the AvoCare sponsor that they have for a very long time, and now they're going with MTX. And for this one, I'm going to give it a B minus. I mean, this is, I believe, an away kit for FC Dallas, and with some of these away kit, I know what the league have listened to the fans saying that they hated the fact that a lot of these away kits are just kind of plain white colors. So what the league decided to do with just, instead of going these plain white away kit, is that they just decided to kind of change the color a little bit more darker to the color that the team has, which in this case is, for Dallas, is kind of like this maroon kind of blue, although I feel like they should have gone a little bit deeper in terms of the blue color, because if they decided to do that, it will match the blue kind of color that they have in part of their logo. And also they call this the community kit, which is kind of interesting because I know the Galaxy also named their kit the community kit, and also LAFC decided to do that. I don't know why a lot of teams decided to name their kit the community kit. I mean, I understand this is one for the community and for the fan base, but there's definitely some other interesting name that they could have come up with. But again, the reason why I give them a B minus is that it's an okay kind of jersey. I mean, it's definitely better than just putting white on the jersey and basically call it an away kit, and at least it has different color. But at the end of the day, it just still also lacks any of these kind of patterns, and it just looks like a bit of a meh kind of jersey. But now moving on to the Houston Dynamo. And for the Dynamo, they are going to go with this one. And this one, I think, is very similar to the one that they had a couple of years ago, where they decided to go with the bright orange color. And I am actually going to give them a B plus because of that, because the ones that they used to wear where it was just bright orange, I really like that jerseys. And Houston, they always talk about their orange color, and it's being very unique in the league, since there's not a lot of team in this league that actually wear orange as one of their primary color. And I like the fact that, unlike how you saw what I talked about early with Inter Miami or even Montreal, when they decided to rebrand and they decided to go with a jersey with the color that is primary to the color in their kit. This one, I like the fact that they decided not to do so, and they decided to keep the orange. I mean, one of the things that I was worried about Houston's jersey is that when you look at the new logo and it has mostly black kind of color, I thought they were going to go with the same route that Montreal decided to do and just go with a black jersey that they had. But I guess the reason why they decided not to do it is because the black jersey that they have is this one, which is the one that they, of course, released last season. And knowing the fact that, since this is the one that they released last season, and I think maybe that is the reason why they decided to use orange, because if they decide to go with black again, they basically will have now two black jersey, and teams usually don't have like a jersey with the same color, and then it also kind of gets confused of, well, which black jersey is the away kit? Is it this one that I'm showing right here, or is it the one that they just recently designed as the home kit for this upcoming season? But now moving on to LA Galaxy, and instantly I'm just gonna give an A+ on this. I don't even need to look at this because I already seen this before, and I already said that this is probably the best one out of every single jersey. And that, of course, is this one, and I'm definitely going to buy one of this, or I'm definitely gonna buy this jersey in these upcoming months, because the thing that I love about this jersey is that this is kind of a retro reverse jersey for the LA Galaxy, and it kind of pay homage to the ones that they wear during the 97 and 98 season. And unlike some of these retro jerseys where they have maybe some color that is similar to the ones that they wear back in the early days of MLS, this one looks almost exactly the same one that they're wearing in 97 and 98. And, again, when I first saw this as a leak image, I was very excited because I feel like this might be one of the first time where a club actually decided to not only pay homage to some of the old jerseys that they wear, but they're actually going with almost the same design, and in this case, pretty much identical design as the old 1997 and 98 home jerseys that the Galaxy, of course, are wearing. Now, the only thing that I think people kind of complain is the fact that at the back, it's pretty much all black. But I guess the reason why they did not include kind of the stripes in the back of the jersey is that it's going to get very hard to see the name and also the number, and also for broadcasting sake. A lot of these teams usually in the back of the jerseys, they only go with one different color because, if you decide to go with kind of a stripy kind of color at the back, it's going to be very hard for broadcaster to kind of see like the name and also the number that some broadcaster use as a reference to see which player that is that they are talking about. But again, this looks like an absolute badass jersey, and this of course is called the community kit, just like what FC Dallas decided to call their jersey. And that also goes the same with LAFC, who they also kind of called this the community kit, and this is the one that LAFC is going to be wearing. This one actually just released today, and this was actually the last one that all these teams have been unveiling this offseason for their jerseys that they're going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And this one I'm gonna give them kind of a B minus kind of grade. Again, I know when you kind of look at it, it looks like kind of just like one of those plain old white away kit that teams are going to be wearing. But the thing I do like is that it's not really kind of white. It kind of had this kind of cream kind of color. And apparently they said that this is actually the heart of gold kind of jerseys that LAFC is wearing. And the one thing that is a huge improvement compared to some of the previous LAFC jersey is the sponsor name. I mean, the sponsor name, I know Flex might not sound like a good name, and I bet somewhere where on Reddit and especially on Meme Monday, somebody is going to probably come up with the flex tape kind of meme and put it in LAFC because their main sponsor is now called Flex Power Tool, but it looks much better than compared to previous when they have the YouTube TV logo. And I really think that YouTube TV logo really ruins some of the first couple of LAFC jersey that they have, and that I feel like if they don't have that YouTube TV sponsor, and maybe if they have the Flex TV kind of sponsor in some of the old jerseys that LAFC wear in their first couple of seasons, it would look much better than the one that has YouTube TV. Now, that being said, I still don't give them a very high grade because, it is a white jersey. And the other thing that I don't like is the fact that they kind of put here on the collar, they put Los Angeles here on the collar. Like, we get it. You're LAFC. You're Los Angeles Football Club. You don't need to put on the collar that you're actually from that city. Or I guess maybe that's just one that's trying to trigger Galaxy fans and the fact that LAFC is trying to flex their muscle and say that, yeah, we're the true LA team. And also it kind of makes sense why they call their kit the heart of Los Angeles, because they basically are trying to use this as a statement saying that we're actually based in LA and we're actually in the heart of LA, unlike where the Galaxy are playing in Carson, and that is not, even though that is still in LA County, that is still not actually in the city proper. Like, I know that usually is always used as kind of a meme kind of topic about how the Galaxy are actually should be calling Carson Galaxy instead of LA Galaxy, and in some way I sometimes do it too whenever the Quakes play against the Galaxy. But still, it's still kind of interesting that now that the marketing kind of department realized that is part of the thing that they could use to give their team an advantage. And it seems like the LAFC marketing department saying that, yeah, we are now going to cement ourselves really now the true LA team by saying we are the heart of Los Angeles, even though we alongside with the Galaxy both play in the same county. But now moving on into the next one, as I don't want to get too far into that rabbit hole. Minnesota, this one, I think I showed this one before, but this is the one that they are going to be wearing, and I'm going to give them a B- grade, just like what I did with LAFC. And when I look at this one, this this design pretty much is very similar to the drift kit that they unveiled a couple of years ago, and that the only difference is that they just, unlike the drift kit where it was basically all white, this one is now going to be all blue, and I believe this they call this the river kit to pay homage to the Mississippi River that is flow between Minneapolis and St. Paul. But again, when I look at it, it's an okay kind of jersey. It's definitely not one of the best one. And also, so I know there are a lot of people that have already mentioned when they look at that jersey, it looks very similar to like the Parley jerseys that every MLS team basically have this kind of light blue kind of color, and that basically is what their Parley jersey is going to look like. Now this season, when they do decided to maybe go with the same Parley jerseys design, I wonder how they're going to do it for Minnesota, because they already have this one that looks like a Parley jersey. Are they just going to go with the same one and just kind of call it a Parley kit? If they decide to do that, that's probably not a good idea, because people will just not buy that one because they know that, oh, this looks very similar to the one that was just released during the off season, so why bother buying the same one? And that the only difference is they call that the Parley kit, even though it has the same design and the same color as the original one. But moving on now to the Portland Timbers, and I think I showed this one before, but this is the one that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And it's an okay jersey. I'm going to give them a B grade in terms of it. I mentioned how it's looked very similar to the FC Cincinnati one in terms of the design, because just like the FC Cincinnati one, where last year they gone part of the jersey with a blue kind of color, and then the other part being kind of a dark blue kind of color. This is pretty much very similar to that, and also they kind of had these kind of stitch mark kind of right between it, so it's kind of almost like both of this jerseys is kind of like stitched together to kind of form this Timbers jersey. Or maybe this is just kind of a reference to the Cascadia Mountain, because it does have this kind of like house dotted house roof kind of dotted line, which kind of symbolize the Cascadia Mountains. But other than that, it's an okay jersey. It's definitely not one of the best one that the Timbers have released in recent year, and therefore that's why I decided to give them a B grade. Now moving on for RSL. This is the one that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. Now, just like the DC one, originally I was going to give RSL a D grade, because it just looks like one of those simple white color kind of away kit that a lot of fans do not want to see their Adidas decided to make teams to wear whenever they go on a road game. But when I look closely at how this thing kind of popped here. Let's put this back up here. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. But yeah, when I look at this a little bit closely, you do see this kind of weird pattern kind of design within this jerseys, and I don't know what exactly this kind of weird pattern that is within the jerseys looks like. I mean, I did kind of see a little bit of a mountain kind of design. I'm not quite sure you can see it here, but I guess maybe that's just kind of pay homage to the Washtenaw range that is found within the Salt Lake City area. But other than that, which that's something that did kind of bring up the grade a little bit, it's still kind of one of these boring white jersey where unlike the DC United one, they literally just gone with red as the main color as the logo, and just gone with a boring black kind of sponsor logo in the light vintage one. So yeah, I'll give them a C grade, and actually because of that, I'm just gonna give them a C minus grade, because unlike DC United did kind of include a little bit more color in terms of the sponsor and also the logo that they have. This one doesn't really do that. It just have like this plain old red and black kind of color alongside with already a very boring kind of white away kit that RSL is going to be wearing this upcoming season. But now moving on to the San Jose Earthquakes, and I think I showed this one before, but I'll show it again. This is the one that the Quakes are going to be wearing, and this of course is paying homage to the first MLS Cup that the Quakes won back in 2001, where they basically wear almost a similar kind of jerseys that the Quakes are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And I'm going to say it's a B+. And you know, if I actually bought the replica ones, I would say maybe this is a C plus jersey. But if I bought the authentic one, I give this one a B plus. And that I mentioned before, this is one of the few jerseys where if you actually buy the authentic one, it actually is more worth it, and that it's much better than the replica ones that they of course have. And you know, I know for the past couple of seasons, the Quakes have not done a great job in terms of producing good jerseys and good home or away kit for their fans, but this one is one of the better ones where they do decide to go back with the primary blue color, and then it also kind of have like the little white right here on the collar and here around the sleeves. And you know this is one that I would definitely would buy probably when they play their season opener against FC Dallas, where I'm gonna get it from the team store. And I think this will be the first one that I of course would get ever since the 2017 season, where I remember when the Quakes released their 2017 jersey. That is still to this day, of all my time supporting this team, the best jerseys that they of course have unveiled. And this one unfortunately still doesn't beat it, because it doesn't have kind of that chevron kind of a pattern found within this jersey. But this one is a close kind of second in terms of all the jerseys that the Quakes have unveiled, and especially home kit, where this is a good second place in terms of my favorite Quakes jersey that they have unveiled ever since I started supporting this club in 2013. But now moving on to the Seattle Sounders, and this is one that I think they released last Wednesday, I believe, or Wednesday to be exact. And this is the one that they're going to be wearing as the away kit, and instantly I'm going to put this as an A+. Apparently they call this the Jimi Hendrix kit, and I think this is kind of paying tribute to the late great Jimi Hendrix, that is one of the greatest artists that is coming out of Seattle. And you know, there's a lot of reason why I say this is a kit that deserves to be A+, and definitely one of the nicer looking ones. And honestly, the Sounders, for the past couple of years when they released their away kit, most of them has looked much better compared to the previous one. And that I remember there was one year where they decided to release the black and pink kind of away kit, and that looks absolutely awesome, and one that I definitely want to get in the future. But this one is also one that I think this one looks even better than the black and pink kit that they have, because this one kind of had this kind of Willy Wonka kind of design here, and also this does have a kind of like a purple and gold kind of color, which, you know, anytime when you put purple and gold in a jersey, it absolutely fit, and probably fit even more than Orlando City when they decide to put purple in their jersey. And this is not to put a knock on Orlando City jersey. I said before how I love their purple jersey, but if they decide to go with purple and gold, just like what the Sounders decided to do with like a purple and gold kind of combination, it just looks absolutely awesome, and it's one that I definitely want to get. I mean, the only thing that I don't like about this Sounders jersey is obviously the Zulily sponsor, and I know a lot of Sounders fans are kind of frustrated. The fact that now the main shirt sponsor is Zulily, and that if this was like an Xbox sponsor in their old jersey when they still had the Xbox sponsor, this would have looked a jersey that I think might be the best one, and even better than the Galaxy one that I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. But now moving on to Sporting KC. And for Sporting KC, they are going to be wearing this one. The Victory Project shirt sponsor, I think this is still part of their main sponsor, who, oh god, I forgot what exactly their main sponsor is. I think it's like Ivy Group or something like that, but it's kind of like the Victory Project is kind of like part of the main sponsor that they're trying to kind of promote. But this is basically the new jersey that they're going to be wearing, and I think this is the home kit that they're going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And I think they decided to go back to the hoops kind of design for their jerseys, and I'm going to give them I'll give them a B grade for this. You know, I like the fact that they are kind of paying a little homage to some of the hoops kind of jerseys, and I know Sporting KC fans love those kind of hoops jerseys that Sporting KC wear for their home kit. But for this one, I just feel like this one doesn't look as good as some of the old hoops kit that they wear. I believe they said this is the third time that Sporting KC have decided to go with this hoops design for their home kit, and this one it definitely does not look like as good as the old one. Where I think the old one has kind of like more of a pattern and more stripes in terms of the hoops kind of design compared to this one. But either way, this one is still a nice, decent one. And again, it's something that they decided to go back to a design that fans want their team to put in terms of their main jersey. And anytime when they of course decide to do so, that does give an extra bonus of the grade that I put in terms of ranking these jerseys. But now moving on to the Vancouver Whitecaps, and for the Whitecaps, this is going to be the away kit that they are going to be wearing for this upcoming season. And, this is going to be a bit controversial, but I'm going to put this as a C grade. And it's not that I hate this jersey. I think when they actually released this jersey before, it really reminds me of the one that they released back in 2018 or 19, I believe. I think it was 2019 that they released as their away kit. And at that time, this was one of the better away kit compared to all these away kits that was just kind of like this bland white color with just the sponsored logo color being the only color in the white jerseys. But the reason why I do go with a C grade is because it just looks pretty much the same as the old one, and that this also goes back to what I said about how if you're going to release a new jersey, you at least you need to maybe change things up and not just kind of rely on an old design. Like, unless if it's kind of like a retro jersey, and unless in the case of the Galaxy where they decided to go back with kind of like the identical jerseys that they were in the 90s to kind of get that nostalgia kind of standpoint, and also so the fact that a lot of people loved to buy retro reverse jerseys. This one, it's not we're not kind of at that point where you can say that a lot of people would buy this kind of jersey just because they wear it in 2019. Like, if this is kind of maybe the same design maybe 20 years down the line, then yeah, it would of course make sense that they decided to bring this kind of design back. But the fact that this was only released a couple of years ago and it's pretty much the same design, with the only difference is I think here on the line here they kind of change it from a black color to this kind of light blue color to kind of fits part of the color in the Whitecaps logo. Yeah, it just feel like if you actually got the 2019 away kit that the Whitecaps released, you might as well just keep that one and not buy the current one that they're going to release, because they look exactly the same one as the one that they wear in 2019. And then finally, the last jersey that I am going to talk about, as I know this video is almost an hour long, and I just realized we're almost getting ready to start for the game between the US and Honduras, so I gotta quickly wrap this one up. But for a bonus, I'm gonna show you guys the MLS Cup jersey that MLS actually decided to release, and I'll show you this on Google right here, and it's basically this one that they're wearing, not the one on the right, but the one on the left here. And obviously this instantly give me an A+, because again, if this was actually a jersey that a team is wearing, this is definitely going to be one of the better one, because not only the fact that I like the patterns and the design that is put here in the jerseys, but it kind of fits what the main sponsor is, which is Coca-Cola, which also kind of had that very similar design in terms of their brand. And also they decided to go with the same color as Coca-Cola has, with the red, black, and also white kind of color, which also kind of fits the main MLS logo. So yeah, no doubt this is definitely one of the best jerseys if a team actually decided to wear this. But apparently I think only people that is participating in the MLS Cup is actually wearing this one, or this might be just kind of like a customization kind of jerseys that MLS decided to design just for the MLS Cup, just like what they do with the MLS All-Star, where they have like these MLS All-Star jerseys that players wear during the All-Star game, whenever that of course is take place every single year around the summer. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for my grading of every team in terms of looking at their jerseys that they have unveiled. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? I know this has been a spectacularly long video that is now almost an hour long, but if you did make it to this far, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below, do you agree with some of the grades that I put in terms of the jerseys that I talk about for every single team. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I of course will see you guys next time.